Tonight, we are talking Beyond the Gates, all the new toys that you've seen and a new creator. We're going to discuss some Scarlett Johansson news for the new movie. All that and more. I am Brad Jost, and this is Let's Talk Jurassic. Welcome back, everybody, to another Let's Talk Jurassic, your weekly live stream here from the Jurassic Park Podcast. Thank you so much to all of our returning viewers out there. If you're in the live chat here tonight, we really appreciate you coming back as always. If you're new here, if you just tuned in for the first time, welcome. Talk in the chat. We'd love to have you talk. If you're lurking out there, I see you anyway. I know you're out there. But we have a lot to talk about tonight, and I'm going to forego all the usual, check out our website, do all this stuff, because guess what? I still haven't uploaded an episode in the past, 3 weeks or so. So there's nothing to talk about, but we do have something to mention here. So let me see if I can get this up on the stream seamlessly. Welcome to the show, Aaron. How you doing, dude?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
It's been a little while. We're probably up to our monthly or so, live streams, maybe semi-replacement for the Wire, because we haven't really done one in a while. So
we haven't done the Wire. We haven't done the Wire, but also I feel like this and the Wire kind of became like
exactly,
the same thing,
yeah,
like simpatico, and it was like, okay, well, I don't know, maybe the Wire needs to be reworked. There's also not a lot going on right now. Like even with tonight's chat, I feel like still the biggest news is stuff you talked about last week. Like there's like maybe one or two new things, but like it's slow right now, and that's fine.
Well, yeah,
I'm playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm living my best 90s life I can possibly live. So,
are you watching some X-Men 97 to go with that?
I'm not, because I'll tell you what, I, as a kid, vehemently, I hated that show as a kid.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think, I mean, I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I think that like as a kid, I could easily look at that show and then look at the movies that like my family was taking me to, like Disney movies, and be like, yeah, there's a major quality difference here, and this X-Men one is not the hotness.
Sure.
Which is like, and then like even like looking at like Batman the animated series, I think Batman is just a far more superior 90s cartoon. I don't know, if it was just their export studios doing a better job. I don't know if it was the style they decided to do. I don't know. There was just something about that X-Men cartoon. So like I actually started it again on Disney Plus, like from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And that first Jubilee episode, it's just like, oh, it's so rough. It's rough. But go ahead.
No, I was trying to like think back into the depths of my mind to remember if I actively watched the show or not. I think I did, because like I do have this recollection of X-Men in this style, in this format, but I couldn't put a finger on what it was. I think it's just got to be the show. But I have not gone back to rewatch. I almost did today, but so I just dove right into the new ones, and I gotta say, like, it looks really good. Like the animation's really good, the acting's fun, and the storyline was pretty great. I'm enjoying it. It's great. I'm having fun with it. I had no expectations for liking this at all. So
I'm gonna try to figure out a way to like bring in like to catch up on that old show, because if the main canon for the MCU is gonna be 90s X-Men, which I think at this stage almost has to happen, as like, I mean, we're getting really Magneto being one of the best villains, right, in comics and in like the last 20 years of film. We're getting so far out from the pinnacle event in history that makes him Magneto that I feel like removing him from that event it's like, okay, well now, like if we're still like to make a new Magneto, right? And his pivotal event is the 40s. It's like, why, like, this guy's so old.
I know, yeah. I
Like,
was thinking about that actually, like
so
last week or so. I was like, yeah, he would have to be so far away from that scenario where like he's just an old guy now. Like, it's very different than having a young. What was his name when he was recast in the movie?
you almost like have to Captain America these characters,
Hmm.
and I think going back to the 90s might be kind of the best way to do that. So again, like, if this is going to be main MCU, then I really want to know that show and I want to know that history. Um,
Yeah, I
all
don't
these
think the
Henry
show.
Cavill rumors
I
spiraling
don't think
around, and
97 has anything to do with the traditional canon, um, at least. But yeah, Henry Cavill, dude. Every time we come together, dude, we're always talking Henry Cavill. How does that always happen?
because
You're-
I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway, we do have Jurassic stuff to talk about. But if you're just tuning in and you have no clue, you've never heard of The Wire, that's typically what we do. Is we talk about other things for a good while. This is a shortened version.
The
Usually it
Wire
goes
is
on
this
for a
web.
good 30 minutes of non-Jurassic talk.
Yeah, The Wire is this segment only like 4 hours long.
Yeah. Yeah, no joke. All right, so let's go over to our first piece of news today, and that is going to be, let's see, what do I have back here? Since I'm doing the guest with you here, all my formatting is different, and I recently changed it, so I think I have one though. Mattel Jurassic. There we go. Look at that.
Oh, look at that.
We got another Beyond the Gates this week. I was looking forward to it. I actually thought it was going to be last week, and then it wasn't. And then last week, I spent the whole stream just unboxing loads of Mattel toys that I've had sitting around.
You
But
behind? Yeah.
yeah, so I was excited to see this one, and we've seen a few toys recently leak out. Whether it was I think the Therizinosaurus Hammond collection toy, or
Mhm.
this one, the Diplodocus. These have been out, kind of shared around for quite a while now. So I expected it to be at least one of those two. I forgot that it was a legacy collection. Usually, yeah, they list it out here. So maybe next time, maybe next month is Therizinosaurus. Who knows? But we're sticking with the Creator Edition. Now, I didn't get your thoughts on this because this is something that we've talked about. We talked about Beyond the Gates so much on the Jurassic Wire and live streams and such. So let me get your take on Beyond the Gates Creator Edition. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I don't typically watch Beyond the Gates because I feel like what ends up happening is I wake up and like the stuff's plastered all over
Sure.
my
Yeah.
social feeds. And so I'm like, okay, well, I have the JPEGs here of like what they announced. Like, do I need to go watch? I mean, I have no problem with this. I know people were kind of upset when they announced that like Chris wasn't coming back, and I think that led to like people being like, well, wait, is it done? Is it over? Like, how do we get our drip feed of Jurassic toy news? Um, I mean, I don't know.
So,
I don't know if this is like for me specifically, but I'm also an old man, so like, it is what it is.
well, if you to catch you up a little bit, like last month, they actually had Ted Brothers do the Beyond the Gates. He
Oh,
was,
okay.
the first of the Creator Edition, and Ted, filmed a nice little video, very shortened, version of Beyond the Gates. It's not a full production like it was before, but basically they just basically say, "Hey, Ted, film us some stuff and send it over and we'll throw it up there." And he did a great job putting that together, and kind of put it into a scenario where he would do, with his repaints and toy photography and stuff like that. So we got to see
Mm.
the what do you call it, the Dennis Nedry and the motorcycle and whatever else it came with. Was it a Raptor or something? Or I don't know, but
Yeah, that was like their new 93 collection set, which I don't know. I feel like we could talk for quite a while about the 93 collection.
yeah.
Uh,
I thought it was a
it's
nice, fun little set, but it was not fully inspired. It didn't feel like it was like some of the other items that we've gotten before. At least I thought it was just like, yeah,
There,
it's some things thrown together.
yeah, like if you like someone broke it down, I don't know who, but it was like the Nedry is like 94, 95. The the Raptor is 2001, and there was something else in there that was like 97 or something. And it's like, so the 93 collection is literally just,
It's anything, yeah.
it's anything that we had in the Kenner days crammed into a box.
Uh
Like
huh.
it's almost like, I know they couldn't call it this, but it would almost rather just be like it's the Kenner collection. Like we don't need to call it the 93. If you call it classic, like I just feel like there's something
Well,
maybe better,
that's
but whatever.
that's
I
what
mean,
bugs
that's
me
beside the
so
point.
much, that because Hasbro is able to do that, with their toy lines. They are able
Right.
to actually give us Kenner boxes, full exact replicas of what we had in the past.
Yep.
I've got a bunch of Ghostbusters toys that are identical to what I had as a kid. I've got one literally sitting
Yeah.
right here. It's the exact thing. I have the old one right there and it's identical. So I wish we had that, but since we don't, I'm okay with this kind of mashup version of,
Yeah.
whatever this is. It's fun. But like you said, yeah, you've got JP3 Raptors, you've got Ian Malcolm with his glider from the Lost World, you've got all kinds of stuff just, kind of tossed together. It's like a catch-all line, but yeah, titling it 93 maybe was, I don't know, a mistake, but they should just called it like classic collection. I know that was the name of the video game thing, but like something like that.
But see, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes. I guess you really just can't be too hung up on these names either,
No, no, no.
because like whatever, we can talk about whatever they announce. But yeah,
All right,
yeah,
so this week's Beyond the Gates was another creator edition, and it gave us the Diplodocus, which we've already mentioned. And this time around, we got a video by Dwayne Shoots Toys. Dwayne here. Actually this morning I had mentioned it in a group chat. Shout out to one of my group chats out there. I had said I didn't even know this guy existed before today. So
I mean,
I
what's his
did.
What's his target? Is his target
Okay.
us? I mean, is his target
His
40-year-old
target,
guys?
no, hey, man, give me a few years. I'll get there. But
I just hit 39, so I'm there, man. I'm already. I feel 50.
so this is his page here on Instagram. I brought it up this morning. Dwayne Shoots Toys, 319,000 followers. So certainly
Nice.
they're
Okay.
aiming for, yeah, they're aiming for like a big demographic of people checking into this. And he's got great toy photography. So that's pretty awesome. Is this, I just seeing this now. Did he have anything to do with this Agent State Farm thing? Because I remember seeing
I
that for the
doubt it, but
Super Bowl.
it looks like he's going all in
He's
on it.
like at
Like,
least like making his own version. I don't know.
yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
but yeah, these toy photos are pretty great. Like I think they look really awesome. It's a heavy on the Ninja Turtles stuff. I scrolled
Sure.
through and oh, I love that in the background, dude. That Mario 3, like
Yeah, that's
a
dope.
McDonald's thing. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
sure he's
that's awesome.
recreating things, he's building things on his own and shooting them. And I scrolled through and I didn't necessarily like nothing popped out to me as far as like, oh, there's some Jurassic toys or there's some dinosaur toys. It seemed like mostly sports figures and Ninja Turtles and other things like that. So and The Office apparently. But yeah, so a good collection of stuff. I didn't see any Jurassic stuff. Not to say that there needs to be, but when they announced the creator edition and we saw Ted Brothers in there, I kind of was like, oh, is this going to be just Jurassic fans, or is it going to be, are they going to spread it out to, just toy fans in general? That's kind of what
Sure.
I assumed, that they would just kind of scatter around and you'd then eventually see people you don't necessarily know. And I think that's a good thing because, you know, whoever follows Dwayne here will see it, maybe see his video because he didn't post about it. So yeah, I don't know. He didn't post about it, so maybe they won't see it. No exposure from his account, at least. But somebody out there will see it, maybe. But yeah, I don't know. I think it was interesting that they're spreading out into a demographic that's not necessarily Jurassic related. So kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think. I mean, look, it's kind of you. You always forget that these are like mega corporations, right? Making
Hmm.
these toys. Like they do such a good job of highlighting Jurassic people. I think like Ted Brothers has been involved with them a few times.
Yeah.
Chris like clearly like hosted for a full year or whatever. But at the end of the day, sure we're buying the toys, but at the same time, like there's a whole other demographic out there of it is weird to me this guy has like no history of Jurassic on his page, like as you were surfing through. Like
Hmm.
he's literally just a toy influencer with everything from the 80s and 90s except for Jurassic.
Except for
So it's
Jurassic. Yeah.
like that's a little weird to me, but whatever. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Whatever. It's cool. It does good work. So, I thought it was cool. And there is like the video here. Let's see
What's
if I
up,
can,
Jurassic World fans? Welcome to Beyond the Gates Creator Edition. I go by the name Dwayne Shoots Toys, and today I'm going to reveal the brand new Legacy
cool.
Collection Diplodocus. We're gonna bring this thing to life
like
by
this.
building a diorama for it and then doing some
Like-
toy photography.
I like
Yeah,
seeing
this
these
is fun.
dioramas,
Let's
how
take a
things are
closer
made.
look
I
at
think
this
that's really cool,
massive
you know?
dinosaur. The designers at Mattel have brought this sauropod
how long
to
is
life
this video?
with a great
This is,
amount of detail. As a
2
toy
minutes.
collector, I really appreciate
I don't
the
think we need to
effort
watch
that
the
was put
full
into
thing. I
creating
mean,
the
no,
skin
no.
textures on the
I don't think so either. I just was trying to compare, actually, because I had not watched it really up until this point. I did see there was a shortened version on like the Jurassic World Instagram or something like that. But basically, it shows off the toy, and does some cool background work. You get to see like it. Look, I like this stuff. I like seeing this, and that's kind of what was cool about Ted Brothers as well. Because here you go, like you get
feels
this.
vast, open,
Like
and
how they're
bright,
doing it,
with
you know?
enough space for these large dinosaurs
Yeah.
to be comfortable in. I'm using a combination of natural
that's pretty
and
cool.
synthetic
Like-
materials to fill up the entire space with a variety of different textures and colors. I also wanted to create a sense of depth in the scene, so I placed
That's
the
awesome.
props
Like, look at
down
all
at
this
varying
trees.
distances, with
That's
some of them
amazing. I
being
wish I had
closer
that
to the
here.
camera, some being slightly further away, and a few things
Yeah.
being placed far in the background.
Yeah,
Now with the
this one I feel like this one might be a little longer than Ted's. I don't know for sure. Maybe we could double check. But yeah, it's good video, great work. So that was the Diplodocus. Let me see if
I mean,
Ted's is here. Ted's
you
was
also gotta think,
just
like-
30 seconds shorter. It looks like right there. So
I would imagine these are also going to get better as time goes on, right? Like if I would imagine the turnaround on these is pretty tight. Like I can't imagine this was shot like 6 months ago or anything, right? So like if Ted did his and then notes come back from executives or whatever, and they talk to this guy and they're like, hey, like
yeah,
do what this guy did, but maybe like do this and this, right? And so this ideally will get a lot better like as time goes on. And I'm not even saying
Yeah.
this is bad. I'm just saying better layer, better, right? Like
yeah. I assume it's cheaper on their end, to produce maybe, but leave it up to the creators to give you something for the most part. And but I think it looks great, and they don't have to bring in, because the original Beyond the Gates would bring in people from the films and the toy creators themselves and stuff like that. So it is a very different kind of process. But video came out nice. Let's take a look at the toy itself, because I actually haven't done that outside of the leaked photos or whatever had come out. So $69.99. September 29th, as far as this says, the release date, September 29th, 2024. Very far away. So far, unreal.
Yeah.
But very big item, obviously. Let's see if I can bring this up a little bit
So
bigger.
while you're showing this thing off,
Mhm.
this is a controversial one. It seems like. On the
Ooh, is
internet.
it?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of posts about no one caring. I've seen
Okay.
posts about why is this a legacy collection figure. So what are your top level thoughts on that, man? Because
That's a good
I
point.
mean, I'll just be
yeah.
upfront. I'm excited for this thing. I don't care what banner it's under. Um, I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I have a lot of these sauropods floating around the house that are like on in films. And so this being something that I guess historically has only been in video games for Jurassic. How are you feeling about this one? Are you gonna pick this one up?
No, probably not.
All
I
right.
don't think so. I think it looks very cool. Like I actually really dig the paint job, the like spikes down the back. I think that looks cool. The fade from that like darker gray to the tan is pretty nice. And I do appreciate that it does look like, you know, a very different sculpt and body type than I guess what I was maybe initially led to believe. I feel like did we see leaks of this one like a year ago or so? I feel like somebody maybe
Oh, we
leaked
saw
something.
a Mangiosaurus like a year ago.
Was it that one? Because I don't know if it was that one or something else. Because it looked like whatever it was looked like pieces of other sauropods just kind of smashed together. So
See,
this at least doesn't look like that. It actually looks like its own thing, and I'm happy about that.
I don't know. I look at this and maybe I have to look at them side by side, but I feel like this started as a Mamenchisaur base sculpt inside a ZBrush, and then they tweaked it a little bit um,
Hmm.
to be this Diplodocus. Now, again, like I think I'm with you. I think this design is really cool. I really actually want a couple of these, but like man, between so like all the sauropods in the entire line, I've got like 4 Brachiosaurs, 2 of the Giganotosaurus, or no, the one from Dominion. I've got 2 of those. I've got 2
Yeah, what was that?
Apatosauruses.
What was that
I've
one called?
got 2 Mamenchiosauruses. Like I've got like 8 of these things floating
Oh
around,
my God,
and
dude.
they're huge.
I have
Like,
2 brachiosaurs, 2 apatosaurs, and whatever this what is that called? That
yeah,
one
what is that
from
thing?
Dominion. I'm like,
Bigosaurus.
I almost got
The
it.
big
I
one.
almost had it. It's somebody in the chat. Please tell us what is the name of the one from
They're
Dominion.
dying over there. They're like, these are the Jurassic Park guys. I don't know.
Hey man, my brain's fried. You just said we're almost 40, so it's you know,
Yeah,
it happens. But I love them all, like, a lot. I didn't get the
yeah.
Mamenchisaurus. There might be something else in there that I'm missing. I don't know. But like you said, it's kind of like here. The Paleo Collector here made a comment and said, "Not caring about a giant sauropod, especially the one that's this gorgeous, is a bit crazy to me." Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
like
think I think
I
it's
kind of agree. Like it's gorgeous.
mhm. Yeah, but it's also like kind of a very oversaturated market. Dreadnoughtus. Thank you, Mighty Man 64. Dreadnoughtus. I was like, I know it's a weird name. I just couldn't think of it on the fly. Oh, and Paleo Collector also said it as well. Why's my mouse not working? But yeah, LOL. But again, I think it's gorgeous, but it's oversaturated, right? We've gotten not only just the standard Brachios, but we also got the Hammond collection Brachios. I did not get that one
But
either.
is it oversaturated? I think they only do one of these a year, right?
It's oversaturated in the way of I don't know where to put these things. I've already got 5 of them. I don't know where else to put them, you know? And the same thing with this super colossals. Like I only have 2 of those. I know there's been a bunch more, but it's again like where do you put these things?
But
They're so big.
look at the way look at the way they've run this. These aren't really meant to get every single one, right? They're not meant for us with although maybe they are, but this thing is $70. Like this thing isn't for like my nephew who has no money. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
this is for my 10-year-old nephew who's got nothing. Like I
Yeah.
can afford this. And so I guess what I was my point was like, well, maybe this is just supposed to be you get into Jurassic and this is the sauropod you can get. And they're trying to figure out ways to like make this line fresh and exciting constantly. They just got renewal for the license with Universal, which is like tells me that one, it made enough money for them that they want to continue. 2, Universal is happy with the output and the licensing fee that they're getting from Mattel. So like I just you can't do gray brachiosaurs for 10 years. Like
Yeah.
how many ways are you supposed to like make that? Um so diving into the Jurassic World evolution species, I guess is kind of the next thing to do. But yeah, like you said, between all the sauropods and the colossals, fortunately, like I only have the one colossal Rex, and it's like in a closet somewhere, and I'm just like I could sell it, but then I'm like but then I have to go in the closet, like so. Uh, yeah,
Yeah.
these things are just massive. In fact, I say I have as many as I do, but a good chunk of them are in the box. I typically only unbox one of each, and then if I ever get into toy photography, which is something I want to do, then I'll have my herd, right, of whatever sauropod I decide to do. But um, yeah,
Yeah.
and the fact that it's legacy collection, that's the other thing people are like complaining about. It's like, well, like, what does legacy collection really mean? And I think the answer is just like, dude, it's just the Target collection. Honestly, like, I wish that's just. I'm sure they have deals in other countries for legacy collection, but like, it's here in the U.S., it's the Target collection. I don't know. I feel like there's been a few
Yeah.
things that aren't like necessarily legacy, but maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy.
I mean, the, we first started questioning that right when the Apatosaurus came out. I think it was like maybe one of the
Mm,
first times we questioned it because we're like, well, this is not what's the legacy here. This is just from Jurassic World, like like it's kind of weird. But
yeah,
I'm cool.
yeah.
I'm cool with it. I like them producing wild and weird stuff, and I appreciate seeing all these different species. I think that's really cool, and just seeing this kid here in this picture, like this is all like a setup and obviously clearly just an ad or whatever. But like I feel like to be a kid and to have figures like this, these massive ones that are bigger than you as a kid, that's incredible. That's awesome.
Well, that brings up another really good point. Is that I remember like Kenner being like, "No, we don't do Brachiosaur. It's too big. Shelves, maybe low sales. Like whatever. There's a million reasons not to produce Brachiosaur, right?" Yet Mattel comes along and they're like, I mean, not only will we do every sauropod that's been in the film, now we're just going to continue with other sauropod. These things are clearly selling. Even if you go to the store and you see them sitting on shelves, they're clearly selling enough expected units. And I don't think they would put them on sale, but I doubt you're going to like clearance center stores and finding all these sauropods, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
you're not going the Five Below and seeing the whatever was sold off
right.
or whatever.
Right. I feel like if Target has one, they're just like, fine, we'll keep one. It'll sell eventually, you know?
Yeah.
Um, some collector will
Yeah.
come in and want it.
Yeah, like
So,
right now, honestly, the 93 collection, the I don't know what was still on the shelf, but like the Grant and the Malcolm boxes
yeah.
are just finally being clearanced. Those came out over a year ago. So, something's working. At least it's working. The shelves are stocked. They're looking good. There's new stuff all the time. So, they've been doing really well.
Paleo
They've been doing well.
Paleo collector makes like a good point in the chat. Is they say Star Wars collectors have their massive ships. We have our massive sauropods, and I would argue like they really don't have their massive ships anymore. I don't think I see too many ships anymore on the shelves. Typically, I feel like that comes
Yeah.
through not Mattel Creations, but whatever the Has Labs or whatever it's
Hasbro
called.
Pulse, yeah, or yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
HasLabs, yeah, and those are $500 or whatever the case is. They're very
yeah.
expensive, so it's a drastically different kind of situation. But hey, I think our dinosaurs might be even bigger. So yeah,
I
but
think they're bigger
it
too,
is it
and
is comparable at least.
it's interesting that like they're putting Diplodocus as a mainline Target exclusive, whereas like when Mandalorian came out, was the Razor Crest available anywhere except for an online Hasbro exclusive that was extremely expensive?
Yeah, I
Like,
don't think
how was the
so.
Razor Crest not available at Target? Like, that doesn't. I don't know, dude. Someone over there at Disney is misreading things or Hasbro or whatever. But these things
Everything's
clearly for the
too
numbers.
much of a secret nowadays. They got to keep everything secret
Yeah.
from the
Yeah.
audiences, so they don't ever put anything into production until after the show or after the movie. Kind of stinks, but we get a
That's fair.
handful of characters or whatever, but it's all right, I guess. I'll take it because they've been still producing some good stuff, and I've slowed down on Star Wars quite a bit, I think, but maybe it'll pop back up when we get new movies. So we'll see. But
Yeah, fair enough.
anything else left with this? Let's see. How do I get out of this picture? Pre-order it now, September 29th. Any other factoids? It says 13 inches tall, 56 inches long. Pretty long. Yeah, that's about
I'll
it.
also say, like, on my website for Target, I don't know about yours, but it's like, oh yeah, you have like the 2 deals for this item. You have to, like, if you
Oh
spend
yeah.
$70, you get $20 off on Target toys. So like, you're like there. Or
Yeah.
$75, you get
Spend
$20 off. So like,
75. Yeah, get $20 off. Not bad.
yeah, I feel like if you were to pre-order this right now and then get one of the clearance items, because there's a few clearance things going on right now, you would just basically get another free Jurassic World toy for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. To be
So
honest, that's actually a pretty good deal. I do have a few things. I feel like I just want to get a few items that are on the shelves right now, but not much. Maybe one or two.
yeah, in the
But
same
it's
way.
okay.
I actually
Yeah.
just got I finished my Pachycephalosaurus herd today. I ordered a few of those. I had like one. I'm like, I can't have one. Doesn't make any sense. So I'll have a herd of 5 for those little
When all is
pack.
said and done, you got
When
5
all is said and done.
Pachycephalosaurus.
Someone on Amazon is selling, like, today. I mean, if anyone's interested, they're like $9 on Amazon right now.
Damn. All
I
right.
think there was like
There you go.
3 left when I ordered. So there you go.
All right, so I want to move into our next topic. Let me see if I got a. Here we go. Let's go with this banner here. We'll go with this banner. We've got brand new Jurassic World 4, Jurassic Park 7 news. This is brand new news, kind of, right? There was a few
Yeah.
weeks ago, maybe there was Jeff Snyder had talked about Scarlett Johansson being in talks for the next movie, and I didn't really report on it because I got to a certain point with some of the Jurassic news where I was like, everything that's coming out is either a film trade or an insider or whoever, or a scooper on Twitter or wherever. And I was just like, I kind of just want a little bit more concrete news. And then
Yeah.
finally, like Deadline and other websites started posting about the Scarlett Johansson stuff. It was, like I said, it was just coming from Jeff Snyder for a few, and I was like, I'm gonna hold off just for a little bit because like he was also saying that he wants Will Smith to be in this movie, and I don't know, I don't think that's happening. But hey, we're getting potentially Scarlett Johansson to be a part of Gareth Edwards' next Jurassic movie. All of those things
No.
don't feel very concrete at all to me because we've got no true announcements yet, unfortunately. So let's start at the beginning, Aaron. I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on Gareth Edwards, first off, on a new movie?
I would say the last time we talked, it was the director before Gareth Edwards that we were talking about. I think Gareth Edwards makes way more sense for Jurassic. I thought what he did with Godzilla was amazing, but also Godzilla is a movie for 90s kids because you don't see Godzilla for like an hour. And so, I mean, all these rumors, right? Like, this is a movie that the producers wrote. So Gareth is like, really, we're under the impression he's just in there to do a job and not have any really big creative input. But where he can have his creative input with an already existing script is not making this thing so incredibly bombastic and like clean looking. His movies feel lived in and they feel dirty and real, and that's why I'm excited for him to come on to this franchise, because I feel like that was something that I think all three Jurassic World movies and Jurassic Park 3 were all missing. All those movies feel very clean and
Hmm.
like they were staged movies, whereas I feel like Jurassic Park and The Lost World feel real and lived in, and especially The Lost World feels dirty and just tangible, I guess. Um, so for
Yeah,
I'm
I
excited from that aspect.
I feel like a lot of productions these days tend to just look like sets and not like
Yeah,
real places or real, physical. I don't know, whatever. I did watch. Oh man, I rewatched Skull Island just today because the new Godzilla movie's coming out this weekend, and man, that movie looks so good. I saw like at the end of credits, I didn't realize before, I don't think, but like Crash McCreary did some designs on that.
yeah.
Jordan Vogt Roberts, who directed it, like as well as Gareth Edwards, like tried to channel some Jurassic elements. It's all like looks, filmed in Hawaii and stuff, and some of the same valleys and whatnot. So it has that very, very like traversal element that Jurassic really gets right. So that movie felt very lived in, and you're right. The Godzilla ones all feel very lived in. Um, I love his style. I love the monsters. I love the creator and Rogue One, obviously. So I'm like across the board. I like all of his movies, so I'm pretty
It's
good with this
funny that
pick.
you
I like the
bring
pick.
it's funny that you bring Skull Island into this conversation, because I actually just got Skull Island on 4K disc for Christmas and I haven't watched it yet, but it's it's probably the last of the Universal monster movies that I am like crazy excited about. I think Godzilla vs Kong was fun for reasons, but like to me it was kind of like Godzilla was like, "Hey, we're trying to make a real Godzilla movie." And Skull Island was like, "Hey, we're trying to make a real Kong movie that's not the classic story that you have been told a million times, right? And we need it to kind of be a world building film, so we're going to throw in some weird things that are kind of like Marvel esque. But overall, that movie, like you said, being shot in Hawaii, and they also went to Vietnam for that movie, which is like not a location that I've seen a million times in films, right?
Hmm.
So it that movie, Kong was doing things in that movie that were totally unrealistic. When Kong strips the tree of all its branches, right, and
It's
uses it as
amazing.
like a sword. My favorite one is when he picks up the chain with the boat anchor, like
Yeah, dude.
just
Oh,
straight,
so good.
or not the boat anchor, the boat propeller
The
or
propeller,
whatever.
yeah.
Like Kong is doing kind of these weird things that like Peter Jackson's King Kong didn't do, or like the original King Kong didn't do. So
No,
he's
he's a
doing kind of these
fighter. He's like,
fantastical things. Right. He's doing these fantastical things, but he's in a backdrop that's like real. And it's real from the standpoint that it's Vietnam for a lot of it, and I've never seen Vietnam really. And so like it's a place I've never been to, right? And that
yeah,
made that even more exciting, right? Because it was like it wasn't just the valley from Jurassic Park, right? Like that we've seen shot in a million different movies. Um, so yeah, like I'm down with Edwards. Uh, moving on to Scarlett, I don't know. I don't care.
well, let's. I actually didn't bring up her IMDb. I feel like we all, pretty much know what the deal is. I could bring it up though if you need to. But obviously, most recently, we're talking a lot of Marvel stuff, right? I know you're a big fan of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Do you like Black Widow as a character?
I did like. Where do I want to go with this conversation? Because I think what movies are doing right now, everyone should have. God, I don't even know where to start with this, because the things that detractors say, right? Like
Hmm.
where Barbie was a girl movie and it was a movie made for girls and girls showed up to see it. And then like Marvel's a boy brand and it should be headlined by boys, and there's boy movies that girls can go see because they find them somewhat enjoyable. Like, I tend to like hate that messaging, but then I look at something like the Marvels that completely bombed. And it's like, okay, well, clearly like their target audience didn't show up for this movie. And so I look at Scarlett Johansson, clearly has like, I think, mass appeal with everyone. But are they setting themselves up for lower numbers? Like, I don't know. Like, are people going to show up for Scarlett Johansson? They didn't show up for Black Widow, but Black Widow was then like
That was again.
was a
You're talking about
pandemic movie. Like,
you're talking about a few items that are there's a lot of like asterisks surrounding them, right? Like
yes,
like
exactly.
Black Widow, it's like asterisk because pandemic and it went to Disney Plus, and you could buy it there earlier. I forget what the scenario was, but I remember I didn't see it in theaters for whatever reason. I think I did buy it when it hit Disney Plus though. Like to watch it, for $30 or whatever it was. And then also the Marvels, like I also didn't unfortunately get a chance to see it in theaters. It was just like a busy time or something. I didn't get a chance. But you mentioned like the detractors and stuff like that. Like I honestly don't know that. I mean, that maybe played a part, but I do think that Disney really failed that movie when it came to marketing. They
Yeah.
absolutely did not market that movie in the way that it should have been. Plus, you also had the strikes, and they weren't even allowed to talk about the movie. Like if you had uh, Iman Vellani out there talking about Marvel, it would have been everybody would have been sharing clips of her talking because she's like a genius when it comes to all this Marvel stuff. So I think Disney failed them. Jurassic with Universal, I think they don't they I don't know if I want to say they do a great job at promotions, but they do at least get their movies out there. Everybody sees the trailers, right? Everybody watches Fast and Furious trailers or this franchise. So I think at least people know about it. Scarlett's got a good history with all of her movies, so I think a
Yeah.
lot of people are going to want them to stray away from Marvel-esque stuff, because that was the fear
Oh, I
with
hope
David
so.
Leitch. Didn't not that David Leitch did a Marvel thing, but he did like Fast and Furious and stuff. So people were kind of afraid of that direction. And then if you just got rid of a Marvel actor in this franchise, Chris Pratt. It's like, all right, we got away from the Marvel stuff. Now we're back into Marvel again. So I think that might worry
Well,
people a little bit, but I think she's got a good pedigree as far as you know, um, like legit acting and like dramatic stuff and award-winning stuff. So um, I'm very excited by it. I have no idea what the role could be or what we're kind of looking at here, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what happens and to have some concrete stuff to see that they actually like, come out and say, yes, she's a part of this movie, an official, actually signed on. I hope we get that at some point.
I just what I like about Scarlett Johansson is that, I mean, first off, she is in one of my favorite like action movies of all time, which is The Island. Like, I think that movie's
Oh yeah, I
amazing.
love that movie so
I love
much.
that movie. Yeah, that's like early on and kind of like earlier in her career. And she was a child actor, so I
Hmm.
won't say early in her career, but like between that, between like she's done like dramatic movies that were like, I don't want to say Oscar worthy because I don't know if she's been up for an Oscar or won an Oscar, but
I
she's done
think I
like,
think like twice maybe. I think she was up for it. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so.
okay. And I've seen her like in like this movie with Matt Damon. Like, We Bought a Zoo, which was like kind of like this weird like family low budget flick.
Yeah.
So I mean, that is to say that like Scarlett Johansson's, like you said, the pedigree of this actor is something that it's like, I mean, could it be argued that she might be the biggest, most established actor to come into Jurassic if she takes this role? I mean, Chris Pratt when he
Hmm.
took Jurassic was really kind of a, I'm not gonna say a nobody because like clearly we've all known him from like TV, but he wasn't already Chris Pratt by that point,
No,
you
no, no,
know?
no. Yeah, he had done like Guardians and Jurassic like back to back, and like nobody knew that he was going to be Chris Pratt movie star, So that
Right.
was kind of new. I did bring up the IMDb just so that's the wrong. There we go. Let's see what we got. Because I want to go more into Asteroid City. I watched that last year. Great work. I really like that. I thought she did a great job in that. The Sing movies. I forgot about those. Good singing voice. Maybe she'll sing in this movie. Jojo Rabbit's Marriage Story. Those got some acclaim.
Oh my gosh, she's fantastic in Jojo Rabbit.
I haven't seen it yet. I wanted to. Let's see. So many Marvel movies.
I mean, you can go on forever, man. Like she's been around since she was like
Lucy.
a little kid. So
yeah, we bought a zoo. But like the Avengers stuff is great. I was just talking about it. I'm like, oh, she's in some of my favorite movies. Like,
yeah,
Endgame and Infinity War, two of my like favorite movies. Are probably top 20 movies for me of all time. So I love her work on there. Very dramatic stuff. Even I got teary-eyed for a lot of it. So I'm down for this. And I think let's talk a little bit about the film, I guess, and how she could play into that. So there's a lot of rumors swirling around, right? There's rumors of prequel. There's rumors of sequel. No. There's rumors all over the place, right? There's anything, whether it's a prequel to the first movie or, before that movie or in between every movie. Like I've heard literally everything.
Sure.
All right. If it's a prequel, let's just say the broad strokes. If it's a prequel, do you have any idea of what you want to see from her in that kind of movie?
I don't care if it's a prequel. Like the first scene of Jurassic Park is the prequel. I don't know what more. That is the first scene of Jurassic Park is an event that establishes that things are not right, yet we're going to push forward anyway. And I just don't think that like prior to that incident, or maybe one or two others like the book describes, I just don't see how you make the time of young Hammond to Island all that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The events would have to be much grander than the Pteranodon escape at Jurassic World, and that closed down Jurassic World. Because it was just the Pteranodons that closed down Jurassic World. That was it. So I just don't get how you do a prequel that has to at least have 4 set pieces of disasters.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And I think pushing forward.
Prequel before Jurassic Park doesn't make any sense. I don't really care or need it. I'm sure there's a story there somewhere, but prequel in terms of like, prequel to The Lost World. Like, I think there's plenty to tell there, or prequel or in between, Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 or Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World. There's a lot of stories to tell, I think, in there. So we've covered them all so many times. A sequel, if she's part of a sequel, do you have any idea what you'd want to see from her in a story moving forward after Dominion?
Yeah, I want to quickly go back to pre-The Lost World. I would like them to if that's what we're going to do, I would like them to establish that the hurricane that wiped out Jurassic Park is not the same event that wipes out Sorna. And I would like to see her, if we were to go that route, I would like to see her as like a doctor on Sorna or something, a scientist on Sorna. Maybe similar to that lady from Jurassic Park the Game from Telltale. If it's a sequel to the whole thing, to all the movies, which I think is more than likely going to be what it is, I would like her to have ties to Jurassic World similar to the live show and that main character.
Dr. Kate Walker?
Yeah, I don't... like she could be Kate Walker. Like I don't see the actress who played Kate Walker like landing a major Hollywood role. So if they want to touch that story, which I don't know if they even have the rights to touch that story for film, um, but something like Dr. Kate Walker, where she has a history with the island, she has a history with the park. She's not just like experiencing this all for the first time. Uh, just something like that, you know.
I kind of want it to be disconnected, whatever her role could be. I don't want
Okay.
those ties. I really think we could just fully have a movie that has no ties. I know a lot of people are worried and thinking that this movie could erase Dominion you know, or not acknowledge it in any way. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it will, but in the same way that the three basically all three of the world movies kind of ignored for the most part the Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. It's like we didn't need to talk about any of those situations because why would we need to? So I imagine in my mind, if we're going to go sequel route, that's kind of what I would hope, is that it's just, we don't need to mention what happened. Everybody knows that dinosaurs are out in the wild, and we don't need to refer back to something or other. You could have absolutely no ties to any of it other than dinosaurs are out there and we need
But
to
then what is
figure
her
something out.
character arc, or like what's her trauma? Like does she have, like, even if she's devoid of, let's say, having worked in the park, was she there during the downfall of Jurassic World? Like was she did she lose a child in the Pteranodon attack or something? Like I feel like this character
There
having
has to be
like
some
being a
family issue. It's a
being
Jurassic trope.
well, sure, being so clearly uh being the seventh movie, being a brand new character, I feel like there has to be something that gives this character motivation to push through the film, and like whether that's a family member that is hurt during the park incident, or a family that's been destroyed maybe as the dinosaurs like propagate throughout the United States and or wherever it is she's living. um this character is going to have some sort of tie to these dinosaurs. I don't think we're all of a sudden just going to be following Karen from next door, you know.
Let me pose this question. Say we are, I don't know, another 15 years or so. Maybe we could say 15 years. I don't know. After Dominion. So we're pushing it. We're going out there. We're going far. What if she's like Brooklyn from Camp Cretaceous?
Come on, man. Like,
Hey man, it's possible. Why not? You don't think so?
yeah, I do think so, man. Why?
You do think so. Okay, all right. I think it's
I
possible. I think it's possible. She's known for having different colored
she's
hairs in the Marvel movies. So let's get some, pink or whatever color Brooklyn has these days, and have her being not necessarily, because this guy has been thrown around a lot during our conversations and everybody's conversations, a Marty Gutierrez kind of storyline or something like that. That's what, he was investigating, doing a lot of research and stuff. And that's what Brooklyn is good at, right? So let's speed the timeline up. And if you go 10, 15 years in the future, that gives you room to make the dinosaurs maybe more of a threat and more established in where they live and everything. And I think, you could have Brooklyn out there doing something.
Here's why I don't think they'll do that.
Because it's
Because,
universal.
well, no, because I think that like taking your characters, I mean, the Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous exists for a reason, which is to bring tweens and younger into the fold, right?
Hmm.
And I feel like what's the best way to like take that audience you've accumulated and push them away? It's to make their lead character 50 years old.
Oh,
I just like I don't see
I don't know.
I don't
I don't know
see
if she's
kids being
50.
like
Is she 50? I think
no.
she's like 39 as well. I think she's like right up there with us.
Is she our age? I
Probably.
don't think kids want to see Brooklyn aged up.
That is a very, very good point. I think you're definitely onto something there. I just throwing this fun idea out there for the heck of it, but I think
No,
you're
I
right.
had to come up with that because I hate your idea. So
No,
I
I know,
just hate
I
I hate
know.
your
A
idea
lot
so
of
much.
people, yeah, would feel the same way. But I think you're right because um, Star Wars has done this with their animated series and everything. But at least to me, it feels very earned. It feels like it took a long time to reveal characters from animation to live action. To me that it just feels earned, I guess is the best way to put it. But to have, a few seasons of Camp Cretaceous a few years ago and then just jump to, an older Brooklyn doesn't feel as earned to me. Um, I mean, it doesn't, as far as I've heard, it doesn't really sound like she's going to be a part of at least the first part of what's it called? Chaos Theory. Um,
Oh, I don't know.
but who knows?
I don't think.
Her actress has been cast in so many great things, and I'm blanking on her name. I always blank on her name. But she's a big part of so many movies, Beetlejuice now, and Screams, and what's that one? Wednesday. So there's a lot of work for her. So I don't know if like she's gonna
Oh, I
continue
didn't know this.
much in
I
that
didn't know this was
show.
Jenna Ortega. Yeah, you're talking
Jenna
about Jenna
Ortega. Yeah,
Ortega.
that's right. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't know it was Jenna Ortega. I would actually, if she hasn't now been like cast in Beetlejuice and Wednesday, I would like to see her in this franchise. Like,
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
that would be great. Yeah, she's not. She doesn't necessarily like look like her counterpart. Not that it needs to. I mean, they could do whatever they want, but um, she doesn't really come to mind outside of her voice when I think of Brooklyn. But I don't know. I would love to see her in the franchise too. But I think Brooklyn's going to be interesting to at least see what happens throughout Chaos Theory. But I think that kind of role could still be applicable here to Scarlett, whether it's not Brooklyn or not. I think that kind of investigative person or whatever could be central to this character for sure. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea. Nobody knows what direction we're going. We keep hearing action movie. We keep hearing Escape from New York, and a bunch of random things that who knows what this is going to be.
I
You know,
I think
could be anything.
I think I think putting her. I mean, like, look, no matter how old she is, right? She's clearly the age of motherhood, right? Like, you can't deny that at all. Whether it's like I'm saying,
The
50,
Hollywood
but she's not.
trope.
But do we have? Does Jurassic have? I guess kind of with Amanda Kirby, but like she was goofy and stupid. Um, I just feel like this idea of motherhood a is kind of a cool Jurassic trope a little bit. It's not like crazy kick down your throat, but like there's definitely motherly maternal debates within the franchise, right? Especially The Lost World has those debates a lot.
Yeah, The Lost
Um,
World, definitely.
doing a mother looking for her child in a destroyed city or something, like if we're going to make it a smaller movie like we've been saying we want, but also sounds like kind of that's where this is going, like a mother searching for her child is a really interesting
Well,
plot device.
what if it's not that, but like kind of what you said? If we're gonna combine all of these things, all these theories and thoughts together, and what you just said, what if she did vacation at Jurassic World and there was an incident with a child of hers that is no longer with us anymore? Whatever happened, I don't know. Um, and maybe she is somebody who's kind of gone full Liam Neeson now, and she'll go in and find a kid who is taking this Escape from New York plot, where Snake has to go in and save the president and take him out of the island. that could be what her involvement is, but it's a kid on maybe an island or somewhere, where they shouldn't be, and she's the one who has to go in, track them down. Maybe kind of like the character from Skull Island, Tom Hiddleston, another
Well,
Marvel character.
I would be down for it, and this would be very derivative, which I think everything's derivative now. But like,
Oh yeah, it's all very
if
tropey and stuff.
if
But
we're in the end, if we're in the quote end times or the new Jurassic World, I think basically the story of The Last of Us is a great, or Wolverine. That's a great story. An adult escorting a child through basically the end of the world.
Jurassic Park did it first.
That's Jurassic. You know what, Jurassic Park did it. No, I just think that. Hey, look, I got no. I've loved that movie for 30 plus years now. There's nothing wrong with an adult walking a child through chaos. Like that's a great trope, right? And maybe it's time for. Maybe she does head out with a guy. Like maybe the party starts with her and like a Henry Cavill type, and maybe it just winds up being like her. Maybe they all die except for her and the kid, and she's got to get this kid from point A to point B.
If you're bringing Gareth Edwards in, Rogue One, does kind of exhibit that kind of thing. And also, the creator, he did a great job at channeling the child actor in that movie. I don't know if you saw the.
Was that Gareth Edwards? No,
Yeah,
I want to, but now that I know it's Gareth Edwards, I'm going to watch it for sure.
Oh, you definitely got to. I'll be interested to hear your thoughts on it, because it definitely got mixed reactions. I really liked it, but the kid who was in that movie, fantastic. Like he did such a great job at getting an amazing performance out of that kid. So I think he could definitely do that. And Jurassic, we keep talking about these tropey things like the parenthood and motherhood and families divorcing or some sort of family trauma or kids on, in being involved, because that's Jurassic. Literally every story involves a kid in a situation with dinosaurs and somebody has to get them out of it. Yeah, I think all these things together, combining them all, it really works out. And I would like to see that. I think, you mentioned the Last of Us, the Mandalorian, this kind of storyline of taking the child somewhere. I had pitched that a while ago, maybe with you. I might have mentioned it to you. I'm not sure, but that I wanted a sequel set in this, this world where dinosaurs are free in the wild. I wanted Sarah Harding to be that person. How cool of a movie would that have been? Sarah Harding is off on some African safari or something like that, or shooting animals, not shooting them, but filming them and documenting them or doing whatever she needs to do, her typical stuff. And like a family tour goes awry and some dinosaurs take out the family, but there's only a kid left over and she has to take that kid across the jungle or whatever it is. I really wanted that storyline with Sarah Harding. I thought that would be cool, but hey, maybe we could get it here.
Yeah, I mean, Sarah Harding, I feel like it does what Star Wars unfortunately keeps doing to itself, which is taking this massive universe and like making it smaller by having the whole thing related to like the same 10 people over and over again. But now that we've kind of come out of that, I think the Jurassic World franchise helped us as a fandom to break free of those chains of like, hey, this has to be about Grant and Ellie, right? Like I know Dominion definitely played fan service to that, but like realistically, like once Jurassic World was a good movie, you thought to yourself like, okay, maybe this doesn't always have to be about the same people I've grown up with, right? So taking that story that you're talking about and just making it a different woman who, again, like, I don't know, like, it would be really stupid to be like, oh, she lost her child at Jurassic World and now she's got to escort this child across the country with dinosaurs and a world that's trying to rebuild itself. You're like, okay, well, like, bro, it's literally just The Last of Us with dinosaurs. But like,
but that's
I don't know,
what every story is doing right now.
we're on movie 7. Do I really care at this point? Like,
Yeah.
not
And
really. I can't be
everything is doing that. You mentioned it, the Logan, The Last of Us,
that
The
Logan. Yeah.
Mandalorian. There's 10 different things happening right now that are all the same. And to be honest, we don't usually get a woman at the forefront of that story,
No,
right? It's always some tough guy that has to, get the child somewhere. And it's like, okay, let's switch it up a little bit. That's why I
sure,
suggested a
but
while ago, like, let's get Sarah Harding. But
and
if that's what they could do here, I'd be open for that too.
let's go back to the detractors, right? The detractors would say about Miss Captain Marvel, Rey from Star Wars, the quote strong female protagonist, right? They would say, well, none of them are as good as Ripley because all of these women, and they call them like Mary Sue, they all know how to
Yeah.
be a Jedi already. They already know how to be a superhero from moment one. If Scarlett Johansson's character goes out with a party and she is just a woman, right, in this party of men, women, a mix of everyone, right? And if she is like, you could almost be like, well, she has to become a strong female character, right? And I feel like, I think it was Emily Blunt that just came out and she's like, I see that phrase in a pitch and I just put the script aside. She's like, that's so tropey now. Like every movie is the strong female character. What makes this woman strong, right? And I think
Mhm.
giving this character like trauma of survival, very similar to Ripley, right? Where Ripley is the one, she does start with a group of people and has to become strong to basically. The first one is is she protecting a child?
That's
I'm not too
I don't
familiar with
remember
the
which
Alien
one. I think
movies,
it's like a different one. I think she's just protecting herself. I forget,
but
but no,
if you could
I
take
know what you're
Scarlett,
talking about there. I've kind of felt that way about, like, honestly, like Owen, even. Like he's just introduced as tough guy. Like you don't really get a
he's
lot of
Army Man Owen,
backstory, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
you don't know why he's strong or why he's capable of training these dinosaurs. You just know he can do it. And yeah, I felt that way about him. But all man, I hate that stuff surrounding Ray and all that, because Luke has the same exact trajectory, and it's like nobody cared when it happened to Luke. So there's a lot of those. And honestly, I
he's the same
love the
trajectory,
Marvels.
but
I thought the Marvels
I,
was
I
great.
haven't
I
seen the
really like
Marvels.
that
I've heard
movie.
it is absolutely nowhere near as bad as what
Oh,
the
absolutely not
media
bad. I don't
made
think
it
it's
out to
bad at
be.
all. I don't think it's bad at
I've heard
all.
it's a very like mid-tier Marvel movie, which there's nothing wrong with a mid-tier Marvel movie.
No, and
But I do
I
feel
think
like
I
if you're
actually
trying to,
okay. I'll go.
I would say
I feel
if you're trying to, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna finish my thought, and then
Mhm.
sorry, if you are trying to make a Ellen Ripley type character, I feel like Scarlett Johansson is, as an actor, is worthy of Sigourney Weaver's like legacy, right?
Yeah,
Um, so
yeah,
anyway,
definitely.
that's all I'll say about that.
And speaking of Sigourney Weaver, um, I just saw the newest Ghostbusters movie. Um, Not that she's in it, but I saw that movie, and the reviews for that were terrible. Like everybody was just ragging on it. And I feel like, man, it just feels like reviewers and whoever are just, every time I see a movie I want to see, it's just everything is so critical and so terrible, and I'm getting very tired of reviews. And it happened
Yeah,
with
but
the
at the same
Marvels, and then I
time,
saw the Marvels and I loved it, and I saw Ghostbusters and I loved it, and I guarantee you, because now Godzilla, pushed back their embargo date. I've seen a lot of reactions say that they love the movie and it's silly and good and fun, but the critical reactions are going to come out the day before, and that's never usually a good sign for critical reactions when they
right?
push it to the day before the movie. So I guarantee the critic reactions are going to be, oh, this is a terrible Godzilla movie. But at the end of the day, like you said, this is the seventh Jurassic movie. It's also, the fourth Ghostbusters movie, the however many Kong movies, and I'm kind of just here for more of the movies. Like that, they don't need to be the first one. They don't need to be as iconic or whatever. They just need to be a new installment to me, and I'm kind of happy with that.
I think what you're witnessing with Godzilla v Kong is almost, this is another movie that has asterisks next to it, because I don't think anyone thought that Godzilla minus one was going to come out and
Yeah.
be the behemoth that it was post pandemic, to the point where it's winning Oscars. Like really, a Godzilla movie won Oscars. Now, granted, for visual effects, which is like clearly a category that it should, but to me, that movie falls into this like line of like why Jurassic movies don't win best visual effects anymore, which is that's it's old tech. It's not pushing any envelope. The reason the special effects are so
Sure.
impressive is because of the budget for that movie, which is like almost nothing. So
Yeah.
I think the asterisk of this Godzilla movie is going, oh no, we're no longer the only Godzilla movie, and also we're the goofy one. Because you gotta face it, man. Between Godzilla 2016, which was the Gareth Edwards one, and Godzilla v Kong during the pandemic, these are wildly different films, and they have full on blasted into goofy territory, as opposed to like the realistic, grounded version of Godzilla that Edwards offered up.
Even the second one, King of the Monsters, was a little bit crazier, but it was more grounded for sure than Godzilla versus Kong. That movie is just off the wall wild. And I love it for that, though. And I imagine this one's going to be even more off the wall. So I'm excited to see how crazy it gets. I love pink Godzilla. It looks awesome.
What was the Legacy of Monsters?
Monarch.
Yeah, do we know about how to get the numbers on that?
I don't know, but I think it did pretty well, as far as I've heard.
I really enjoyed it.
I don't know what the numbers are.
It.
Yeah, it was great.
I enjoyed it,
and it was more grounded.
That it has to. It was, but it also it did a good job, I feel like, of fitting into the goofiness that franchise has become. But I thought and I'm not going to do spoilers, because if you haven't seen it, I think it's something that you totally should go check out.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I'm pretty down on a lot of shows these days and movies, and this was something that, like, if you said to me right now, like, hey, do you want to sit and watch this? I'd be like, yeah, let's go. All the concepts that they had introduced, and there's new concepts into this world, and there's establishing how the world works, and we're going to flash back to all these different time periods. Like, I just thought it was a really cool show, and I don't know where I'm going with this. Just watch it if you haven't seen it. But like, it was good. I enjoyed it.
It bridges the gap between the grounded version and the unrealistic version of the franchise. And I think that show is a great model for something that Jurassic could do television-wise, with the flashing back and forth between different timelines. Oh, man, that would be so awesome for a Jurassic story.
I guess, yeah, like, if you want to get a prequel to me, that's how you do it, which is like, you don't make the prequel a 2-hour event. You sprinkle the prequel through an event that's happening today, right? Like,
which is kind of what we thought Dominion would do, right? Because we got a lot of flashback looking images and stuff.
I think that's one of probably our best discussions / episodes, is us weaving this amazing narrative of what Dominion was going to be, and we got none of it.
None of it. No, I know. Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't. But I think that would have been a great way.
I'm gonna check in on the chat, because I feel like you and I ignore the chat like really well.
No, there hasn't been a ton of stuff going on in there tonight, unfortunately. But it's all good. I think I know I did a live stream about kind of, and I love those 3 movies, the Jurassic World movies, but I did a conversation about like fixing, the Jurassic World movies. And I think there could have been a way to tie in all 3 movies by actually, instead of like making it this big mystery, you could have laid in Dodgson in the first movie and, kind of replicate what's going on in Jurassic Park in a way, and then uncover it and make him involved in this saga the entire time. And it would have been I forget
Yeah, I
exactly
agree.
what I said, but it, having stuff like that, stories like that interweave and tell a story that I don't know, that you're familiar with, and it didn't have to go to these wild and crazy places that necessarily the new trilogy did go. I think it could have been really cool. And if I don't know what this movie's going to do, maybe there's something to the fact that there's rumors of the past and the present. Maybe there are rumors. Maybe that's why all those rumors exist, is because maybe they're doing something like Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. I don't think so. All these crazy fun theories I have in my head, I don't ever think they're gonna do them. But maybe there's something to it. Maybe that's in their head. Maybe they
I
brought
feel
in
like
a
that's
Cap
really
and they're
hard
like,
to do in 2 hours, though.
sure,
I feel like
yeah.
it's really hard to do in 2 hours.
Oh man, but that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be.
Now,
That's-
like getting, because so many movies these days, and even like Rogue One to an extent, like they're about like showing things from a different perspective. And imagine if there was trauma related to the Jurassic World incident with her and her family. And that's even like Godzilla, to be honest. That's what happens in the second movie, King of the Monsters. There's trauma from that, and the same thing happened in Superman.
Legacy of Monsters.
What's that?
Well, that happened in Legacy of Monsters. Like that's not a spoiler; it's in the trailers.
Oh
but
yeah.
there is
It happened in
trauma
that.
from
It happened in that too, yeah. But it also happened in the movie as well. From was it San Francisco? There was a lot of trauma with San Francisco, but it happened in the Batman movie, right? What happened in Batman versus Superman or whatever? There was that whole intro sequence where they flash back to that battle with Zod, and
right.
so there's trauma like that. So
in-
maybe this could do something like that, where we're flashing back to that Jurassic World incident on the island, and there's some trauma there. This is kind of wild speculation, but maybe it could
It's
go
just
that route.
the
That would be
fastest-
interesting.
It's the fastest way to give this character motivation and like the audience to understand this character, right? Because like in Batman v Superman, your whole thing is like going in, you're like, why the heck would Batman need to fight Superman, especially this early in the saga or whatever?
Yeah.
And you get that scene and you go, oh, Batman doesn't know Superman. He's not had an interaction with this person. He
Mhm.
literally is just looking at this person as a liability, and he wants to basically eliminate the liability. And so between Batman having the standard dying parent stuff, I thought that was a really good way of like when Ben Affleck is holding that girl and he stands up amidst the rubble and is just looking up in the sky, and you don't see Henry Cavill, nothing. You see these two dots just basically flying across in a giant fist fight amidst the rubble. That's such a cool, like, motivating shot to me in that film.
Yeah.
But whatever, I like those movies, so what are you gonna do?
I just watched the second Aquaman, and I had a good time with it. It was fun. It was silly,
haven't seen it.
silly fun, but it was good. It was fun.
We got to the last
just
like
know that it's going to be
15
silly.
minutes. We got to the last 15 minutes of Shazam 2, and we were like, oh, I guess we should go to bed. Like, we couldn't even be bothered to like finish it, and then we just never put it back in.
I had fun
which
with
I would
that
like
one,
to
but that
finish
one
it.
wasn't any kind of. I didn't really care all that much.
Yeah,
I cared more for Aquaman.
fair enough.
Yeah, but there was one more thing. I wanted to go back to our chat here for a second. Shout out to Jurassic Souls. I know it's been a while since you made the comment. Thank you for the super chat. And you had said we talked about the character, at least what she would play and stuff like that. But what dinosaur would you love to see her encounter? Do you have any ideas of what would you like her to interact with? Maybe not. There's no reason why she would interact with it, but maybe just something new or something, unique.
I mean, the problem with new dinosaurs is that I'm like, and I think I've said it a million times, I don't know anything about dinosaurs. Like, the ones that I know are the ones that are introduced to me through the lens of
Think of the toys. Think of the toys.
or the toys or something like that, right? So like,
yeah.
I would like to see well, they kind of did this with Indominus. I would like to see them do the Carnotaurus chameleon sit and wait scene, even if they just use it as a reason to just deliver some exposition, like if they just sit and wait for these chameleon Carnotaurs to pass along. I don't know. Bring in Diplodocus as a new sauropod. Like, I got no problem with that. But if we're there's still stuff to mine from the source material. We never, even from that original pitch trailer with the Quetzalcoatlus like hunting people on the beach, like that's still something that is probably not known by the masses. That's a cool scene. The CG was quite bad for its time. Well, actually, it was probably not bad for its time, but by today's standards, it wasn't good.
Well, what about the? I think it was from the.
This is a smaller movie.
I know. What's the script? The unmade film. The script. What's the guy's name? I'm blanking on it right now. This is Sayles, the John Sayles script. Didn't that start off with like a baseball, like a kid's baseball game or something like that?
Yeah, that sucks. They shouldn't do that. That's bad.
But that's so like bad. That's the trauma you're looking for, maybe from a character like that. So it could work,
But I don't know, man. Like okay, so all right, so that's a way of divorcing it completely from the past. But like, you live in this world now where dinosaurs run around. You're telling me that we're still having like kids baseball games like normal? Like, we don't have
did
like
the pandemic ever tell you anything about the world? We're going back to normal, baby.
Wow, that would be
gotcha there.
Wow.
Maybe for a little bit they would have some fenced in. There would be a mask, a cage over the top of the field.
I just cannot imagine that Scarlett Jo's sitting there watching her 5-year-old kid play baseball, and a Carnotaurus just runs across and snatches her kid up. Like, I don't know, man. That would be so brutal.
World. That would be brutal. That would be messed up. Yeah.
I feel like it has to be some kind of ambiguous. If we're going to tie her into like trauma and kids, it has to be really ambiguous. They're not going to show a kid just getting axed on screen.
Yeah, Jurassic doesn't.
They might have done it 20 years ago.
They're
not going to do it now. Yeah.
Ooh, what if it's the beginning of the novel with the baby in the crib and the copy or whatever it was? Now it's just getting grotesque. Yeah,
brother,
it's not gonna happen. But who knows? Maybe it will.
Don't get me excited. That would be so dope. Because you could play that, dude. You could do that. You could play that showing a baby, and it would be scary, right? Like, she's a new mother. They had a hard time getting pregnant. She's finally has a baby. She goes in to check on her baby, and it's gone, or she just screams or something. Like, I don't know, man. Like, oh, that would be. Yeah, that you just hear those little compy mouse cries with some shadows on the wall or something. Don't even see the compies.
Yeah, that'd be messed up. And honestly, with bringing in David Koepp, he's obviously known to adapt from the novel. So, if maybe he could adapt something else. I hope he mines from the novel. That would just be a brutal way to do it. I don't know.
Yeah, and we still have characters that they've not even touched. Like, we've got, is it Levine or Levin? We've got Levine that we haven't touched. King. They haven't touched Arby. Howard King. Who's Howard King?
Wasn't that his name? He was like a number 2 to Dodgson.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, it's just there's so much to mine, and I would love to get Vicious Raptors back. Like, well, let me ask you this.
Oh, here. Okay.
Is Blue going to be in this movie?
Nah, you can't.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
This massive marketing device.
No, but like, what if we do mine the novel and we do get like a baby raptor? I know we just got a baby raptor,
We
but
just
one
got a
that's
baby
like,
raptor.
we did, but like, it wasn't, I guess it was kind of not playful. Like, this baby raptors are also very thick in contrast to what I always imagined as these like kind of wiry little
Yeah.
things. Because we did get a baby raptor in a novel, and it was like kind of like friendly and stuff like that, right? But what I imagined, because I started coming up with the concept out loud or in my head, or I think it was on stream or whatever, and I started thinking about Jurassic City because that was being pushed around for a little while.
Yeah, I
And
know.
mining from the novel, I thought, like, what if we have like, that raptor den, basically, that, cave of raptors just underneath a city, kind of plucking people out of the city left and right, and you can't control it. But maybe there's a baby raptor involved in that story somewhere. But I
I
don't
mean,
know.
you know what would be cool about that is that like the novel describes the queen raptor, I believe, with a blue stripe, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
Forget, maybe, yeah. I think
or
something like that, yeah.
I definitely remember like rereading Jurassic Park after Jurassic World came out and being like, oh my gosh, like this is where they got blue. This is where they got blue from. Man, I'm gonna sound really stupid if I'm just like making this up in my head.
No,
But
I
I
know there
feel like
was
that
there
was
was like
something.
stripes of some sort that were mentioned. I forget at what point in the story, but
But no, I
I'm
totally dig
blanking
that
on it.
idea of like of a raptor, not society, but like an underground, like they've been laying low kind of threat, snatching. I mean, children,
And
right? Like
and
children would be the
yeah,
easiest targets.
and like, kind of how you were just saying, like, would we still be out here playing baseball games with kids? I say yes, because like if you take a city like New York, New York is like the number one city where this would happen, and people would be like, nah, dude, it's just a giant croc. It's not. It's just that they always say that stuff about the New York sewers. That you'd get that guy
You
that
mess
just
with
like doesn't
Spider Man,
believe
you
it.
mess with New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
So you'd get that, right? Like you definitely get that vibe from the city that they can do anything they want. They can stand up for themselves.
The only
So I could see that working out.
the only issue I have with like these raptors snatching children and taking them back to their lair is that it wouldn't be like in Super 8 where the monster's like storing people to eat later. The raptors are just straight up like they just eat the kids now. They're not saving
Yeah.
kids
Oh no, I don't think
to eat
anybody's saving.
later.
No, but
You
they might
know, like
find
so
piles of
there's still
bones
no
or
happy
something.
ending for that. There's still no
No,
happy
yeah.
ending.
Yeah, you're not gonna find them
Um,
all wrapped up in a cocoon like later, and you can take them
right.
out and save them. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, anyway, I feel like we're going down some crazy rabbit holes,
We're
but
rambling. I'm rambling. Yeah.
yeah, we're rambling now. But that was fun. I had a good time talking about that stuff. And yes, I did see some toy leaks from Chaos Theory. I saw that there's apparently a dinosaur named Major or something like that. So we're not straying away from the dinosaur names, so they're sticking around for a little bit. But yeah, anyway, Aaron, are you anywhere on the internet these days?
No.
Is anybody able to
Don't look for
find you,
me.
track you down? Don't look for
No.
you?
It's such a waste of internet real estate at this point. Like, I don't update anything.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you what I'm working on. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, what are you
You
gonna
can find
do?
me here
I
at
You
this
can find me
video.
here. And speaking of us, I mean, we haven't really done anything recently either. I still have this episode from March. The beginning of March was the last time I uploaded an episode, but we're still doing live streams, obviously. So definitely go check out that episode. But I have been doing other shows. So my other podcast, Grim Grinning Hosts, we did an episode about the Jaws ride. So go check out that episode, 20 Things We Loved About It, and some HHN rumors and things like that. Is there another episode of this coming out? I forget. But I was also on the Forcecast. We talked about Star Wars in the movies and the episode from the middle of this month. And then we also talked about Acolyte trailer and my buddy Ryan, who is the host of that show, went off on Disney. So if you want to hear somebody go completely in hard on Disney, go check out that episode. But yeah, that's all I got going on. So, not too much, but go check me out on other podcasts for now, at least. How do I get back to the guests? Here we go. Boom. That's all we got for you. So thank you so much for watching. Go follow us on all these places, social media, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Go listen to the podcast, go download some back catalog episodes and check it out. But that's it. Thank you, Aaron, for joining me. It's been fun. We'll do it again. Maybe next month.
Good seeing you. For sure.
All right, dude. Let's hit the outro. Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye.